Hit it, Chewy.
You might have drugs in your eyes. She blinded me with science. You might have drugs in your eyes. She blinded me with science. Lady Babylon, bring you to the goddess. Chromatic, chronic, snake people. Something wicked this way comes. Comprachicos, bottle people form. Black Sabbath, red rum. Snake venom from her legs. Mary purple fingers wait. A wizard with a tree limb wand. Electro shine, bring the dawn. Global destruction, play on the yo-yo. I live in a dream on the way of Medua. Do you know the mysteries of magic? Walk across the skies. Athena in the boiling cauldron, stir darkness through dreams. Hail Satan, cracking whips to your ears from Medua's lips. Poisonous kiss, black arrows hit the mark. Dragon venom lay you down in the tall grass. It only took one drop. You might have drugs in your eyes. She blinded me with science. You might have drugs in your eyes. She blinded me with science.
Welcome back to Lady Babylon. I'm going to be real still because we're still working out our frequency here. I want to say we have a great show lined up for you tonight. And I have some really good material. It's going to be difficult. I want you to take out your adult diapers and put them on. Okay? We don't want any messes during this production. I want you to be that adult that I know you can be. Right? Because you may, during this, want to poop your pants because the information is overwhelming. Tonight, when we step off that ship, we're stepping right into the thick of it. I mean, this is tough tonight, people. This is really tough. So I want you to be as mature as possible, as scientific, and I want you to set an example. I want you to set an example. Let's say those members of the congregation of Satan, they don't joke around. They don't joke around. We're about the text. We're about the reality. We're about the evidence. We're not here to buy anything. I know people are talking about somebody's running adverts on Lady Babylon. Right? You knew the algorithm. What does that tell us? It tells us we've gotten to a point that somebody's going to want to hook us. Right? Satanic congregation doesn't do that. Right? So I just want you to know that's not from me. That's not from me. That's the bonus that you get coming here, right? Is we don't have adverts. We're not trying to sell you anything. This is pure, baby. This is pure what we've got. Fantastic. Fantastic. Now, before we begin, I just have an update that a lot of people have been asking about. So go ahead, bring him up. I want to bring up Wes Huff one more time. I want to bring him up because everybody is saying, hey, Wes Huff, right? Meet Amen at a place, at a cage where we may put everything out on the line. Yeah, what happened was Wes beat up on some other guy, and this other guy's, oh God, there's lawsuits and all sorts of things. There's so much merchandising that it becomes about money. When justice becomes about money, she leaves. Satanic congregation, None of this, as you know, has been about money. This is the pure, baby. I'm only going to give you the pure. So people are saying, hey, Amen, debate him. Talk to him. Again, right? We invited him once and he said no, long time ago. This is all through Danny Jones. Danny Jones is a referee. Would be fantastic. Would be gorgeous. So what did I do? You know me, satanic congregation. What did I do? I asked Danny to invite Wes again. Now that he's doing his victory lap, right? He just brought somebody low in a wrestling arena where he used his skill. He used his skill. Oh, can you see the skill coming out of him? It was apparently heroic. I don't know. Yeah, but what I do know is this weekend I asked Danny Jones, man of metal, tell me, where is the Metallica Pharmacon? Oh, God. Do you love this stuff? Anywho, I said, hey, Danny, invite him. Invite him. Let's have a go round. Come on. Now it's time. You said something. You talk trash, buddy. You stepped into a professional arena and you talk trash. You put things in my mouth that weren't there. It's the best that you could do because you got no defenses for the sources. Those things are like lightsabers. They go right through you. Oh, Wes, let's do it, buddy. Let's do it. Danny asked Wes, and Wes once again. Oh, he's so busy. He's so busy that he just can't commit. The cowardice is amazing and typical. It's typical, right? In antiquity, you had battles between pagans who were all about the classical tradition, and you had Christians, and you know what they did? They engaged in the spirit of reason. They engaged. Now, what do, people? They run. They run. Do you see me? I am a giant, and no one can stand before me. Not the head of Dallas Theological Seminary's Greek program, and certainly not this guy. Why? Because I drink their blood. I drink it. I love it. It's from Lady Babylon, and I love it. And it makes my soul alive. It makes my soul alive. Oh, God. It's from the Oystromania that we find her voice that penetrates every faith. It's gorgeousness and gorgiosity. So, Wes is still afraid. He won't step into the professional arena. And I'm sure the people that put him up there so that they could advertise, they could flash this up, debunked, right? Debunked. Mr. Julian, what's his name? Debunked is the title that you ran. I'm talking to you, you mafia-loving moron. Your virtues are virtues of murder, lying, and thievery. And you, sir, and your minion are cowards and cannot stand before the classical tradition. You cannot stand before the classical tradition. I will bring you all Lo, I am Amen. That's fantastic. Oh, give me the, I'm sorry. I really went there this time. Holy mackerel. Did you see that, Timmy? No! Oh, Timmy. You show your enemy. You show them. And what do? They run. You know what that was? Some kind of demon from New Zealand crept in. I understand why you make that face. You do it to scare those English footballers, don't you? Don't you? Oh, God, no. I'm sorry. What was the match? Oh, God. I think it was some kind of ball game. Did they execute the losers? Oh, you might as well, man. You know what I mean? Look at them. Look what happens to them. Okay, we're restricted. We're in imperial space tonight, people. So we have to run. And I'm going to bring us up the first star chart. Go ahead. Yeah, here it is, people. I'm going to translate for you. This is Bible tonight, right? And they brought to him children, little ones, in order that he might hoptomai? He might hoptomai then? Is that the verb? Yeah, it is. What does that mean? Give me the next one. What does it mean? People were bringing infants to Jesus. And by the way, the finale tonight is the big. If you're sitting there and you've only got 10 minutes, fast forward to the finale. You won't be able to sleep well. I promise. I promise, people. Tonight I'm delivering. What is this hopto? People, look at what to fasten or bind, right? To join, to have a juncture. Okay, this is what Jesus is doing with these little kids. Yes, he's joining them. He is like the wrestler. He is engaging with them. And look at here. Let's not forget this. He is fastening himself to. He is taking hold of. Do you see all the parameters, all the borders? Next one, all the possibilities for this word's development. You can even just set to do something, right? But finally, I want you to see. It's also a verb, particularly used in the Bible, a contemporary, right, of our documents, right, to mean intercourse. I'm going to translate for you the Bible tonight, and you're going to be shocked that it says what it does. You're going to be shocked. The difference is we're going back to the sources, those places that Wes talks about. We're going back to them. Are you ready? Yes, kiddies. Look at Jesus. Look at him. What's he doing in a public park at 4 a.m. with naked kid and a bunch of passed out students? He tried to wake him up 3 times. Right? But that's what happens. Oh, God, it's those cultists, right? Is this the first? This is 1 Corinthians 7:1. Yeah. Concerning the things you've written about, it is good for a man not to hoptomai a gunaikos, a woman. It is good to not do this verb that Jesus is doing to children. Do you understand? Okay. Hoptomai. Let's keep going. Chewy, it's burning up tonight. We have to make a pace. Right now, what else does Paul tell us? Right, this is his sex chapter, by the way, because how do you say that? There is no separation between the sex and the religion. Do you understand? Sexuality is a holy act, and you say, "Wait a minute, the sanctity of marriage," right? You know, it doesn't say that. It doesn't actually say that. right? The sanctity of marriage. Yeah. A little bit of something came up there. What are we talking about? Paul the apostle, can you tell us? Right. What is not good? Keeping from somebody else something that they need. Yeah. Don't do this, ladies. Don't do it, fellas. Give me the next one. Right. Are you sure this is Paul the apostle? Yeah, this is the real one. Not the one that your church has been teaching you about. This is the one that hung around with the young guys. Okay? I'm going to show you the trade of the Laestace at the end of tonight's session, which I've got to make it on time, so I'm going to be as focused as I possibly can. Give me the next one, Chewy. Give me the next one, Chewy. But what does Paul say? Right? So you can, under an agreement, right, with somebody, according to a certain time, you can say, we're going to abstain from any sort of sexuality between us, right? When you want to pray. Right? And then afterwards, when you're done doing whatever you want to do, right? But all of this is done in order that Satan doesn't tempt you, doesn't try you, doesn't test you. I'm sorry. What is the significance of this verse? The significance is that Satan is represented over and over again, as he is with the Orphics, as sexual desire. Yeah. You're looking at it right in the eyes. Right in the eyes. Right? Do you understand? Okay, thank you, Paul. Appreciate that, brah. Right? Yeah. Go back. We didn't finish the passage. Boom. Yeah. And what is it? What is it that Paul knows? He knows. Look at that last line. That you have akrasia. Right? Paul is trying to shepherd, and you have akrasia. And what is that? Chewy, show us, right? This is akrateia, right? The tau and the sigma are interchangeable. Don't worry about that. If you want to talk about Pulaskians, we can, but we don't have time. What is it? It's want of power or debility. And look what it's in reference to, the neuron. Do you know what the neuron or the neura, do you know what they do? They transmit that energy that is your desire, your epithumia, right? Your sexual desire. The neura transmits that. Those are the strings of your lyre. Those are the strings of your lyre. Do you understand the mystery? Do you understand it? God damn it. Bring it. Bring that earth drug. Bring the Metallica pharmaca. Do you understand? You do it through that string. Fantastic. Zeus lost his. Yeah. And the guitar player got him back. Isn't that funny? Isn't that funny? Now you understand, right? With all the interplay of woohoo, those nymphs, gotta love them. Give me the next one. This is Paul again. Okay, so he says, look, now I'm going to translate this, people. Hold on. Because, here's what I want to say. You haven't read the Bible. You haven't. You've been sitting in church for years and you haven't read the Bible. And to read it to you for the first time, it's I don't know. I'm sorry. It gives me pleasure. It gives me pleasure. I don't know. Call it a form of, foreplay, right? Intellectual foreplay. Read these people the texts that they've never read, but you've heard a lot about Jesus and all of these people. You've heard a lot about Paul. I'm gonna give you his words in this one verse that are gonna shock you. They're gonna shock you. If you can't control yourself, banana. If you can't control yourself, I would insert the F word if this were not such a friendly place. Do you understand? If you can't control yourself, go ahead and F. Do you understand? For everybody out there, fluoridate, right? If you can't control yourself, then just go out and fluoridate, because it's better to fluoridate than to burn with that epithumia. That stuff gets in your body and you've got to get rid of it. Oh my God. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Paul, for that. I appreciate it. I understand why you're with your boys, Paul. I get it, and I understand that you're on the venom. Totally immune to those viper toxins, right? You proved it once. You got bitten, right? Didn't do anything. Yeah, fantastic. Just like the priestesses show you, right? You got it. You were in the temple. You understand. You understand the traditions of the temple. Oh, God. It's gorgeous. Give me the next one. Hey there, Timmy. Is that Timmy? I think that was Timmy. Was that Timmy? Right. Okay. So a man who is unfaithful, right, who doesn't have his faith, that man is made holy in his lady. And the lady who is unholy, she's made holy in her brother. Oh, God. Did you have to? You thought it was going to be such a nice landing, and then it just boom, right into the ground. Big explosion, right, Chewy? Big explosion. Oh, that poor person. What are we talking about, people? We're talking about a mystery cult. The Romans are arresting these people for having sex within their own families. Do you know what they call each other? Brother and sister. Oh, God. If the lights are out, you can be there with relatives, dude. Do you understand? And these are sex cults. Because if you remember, the Christ of Jesus Christ is the application of a sex drug. If you don't want to believe Euripides, I don't care. I don't care where you put your walls up. And that's the problem with Huff. And that's the problem with Kip. And that's the problem with Dan. Is I go right through their walls. I go right through it. I love it. Do you see what power the devil has given me? Do you see? It's gorgeous. You know why? You know why? Right? Dawn bringers, baby. Dawn bringers. Right? What's the thing that I've got on the devil? What's the thing that I've got on the devil? I know his weakness. Yeah. He saw Eve and he told her the truth. He told her the truth. You know why? Oh, God. Do you understand the mystery? Do you understand the mystery? You know who the devil is? He's Eros from the beginning. And that's why you see these associations with sex and the devil. Right? Do you understand? He's got those wings and those arrows. Oh, God. Let's bring the light bringer, baby. And that's why Jesus is so envious and wants to, please, says Jesus. Shut up, Jesus. Please, let me be a light bringer, and I'll wear my golden bra. Wait, did Jesus said that? Yeah, he did. Right? He's the morning star, baby. I can't wait. You know, what they expect? It says he comes back, he's in drag, bro. Which what were you expecting? You know why? Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. Because you haven't read these texts. Bring them back up. What was that? Bring the last one. Let's make sure we got all of that. Yeah. Oh, God. And then he gets into the children, talking about them being akatharta, right? You recognize that term by now, right? Polluted. Do you know what it requires to unpollute children? And everybody just went, oh, God. Right? Okay. Let's keep going. Boom. Give me the next one. Where is this one? It's 1 Corinthians again. Look. What does it come down to, says Paul? You have been bought with a price. Remember, who were the earliest Christians? They're slaves. Are there a lot of sex slaves with them, like Peter, James, and John, and those two underage prostitutes that identified them, or as they used to say in detective work, fingered them? Yeah, these prostitutes. Do you want to see them tonight? I'm going to bring them alive for you. I'm going to bring them alive, and it's going to shock and horrify you. And this is all contemporary with Jesus. All the sources. Fantastic. You got no excuses. For those morons out there who think koine is a different language from classical Greek, you morons. Give me the next one. Here he is, Paul again. Now, oh God. And by the way, this conditional blows. It's really, you can tell just from the Greek at this point how common it's become. Yeah, because this conditional blows. All of my students who are in Greek, check this thing out. It totally blows, right? It's basically a mixed where he drops the apodosis. It makes no sense, right? So he says, if you banana, you don't do wrong. Yeah. And if there's a virgin, says Paul, right? And she bananas, she doesn't do wrong. But let me tell you, he says, these people who do this, they have a real struggle in their flesh, a real form of oppression. And I'm trying to keep you from it. Once Paul shows us that once you get the taste, you cannot give it up, P. Diddy. Do you understand? That's from Paul. Paul the Apostle. Yeah. Next. And you thought these Christian documents were boring. What is it that the girls who are engaging, what is it that they get? They get an oppression, an affliction in the flesh. Do you understand what that means? No, not if you don't look at sources from antiquity. It is sexual. Are you going to eat the flesh offered to idols? And everybody's like, oh, it means hamburgers. Nope, it doesn't. It doesn't. And that's why all the conflicts. That's why. Do you understand that in order to eat her flesh, you have to enter into a communion that is chemical and religious at the same time, combined into one musical symphony? Eat my flesh and drink my blood. Fantastic. Next. We're doing good. We got 25 minutes left, Chewy. Yeah. Okay. So at the end of this section, it says, and if someone, Paul says, if someone should put aside a relationship, right, and then and join in intercourse with another person, right? What happens? They're whores. Moichatai. I'm translating this for you. Now, look, I'm going to give you a couple of definitions. Moichao, which they tell you it's like moicheo, right? But it means to have a dalliance. Okay. Fine. To falsify, to commit adultery. Can be of mere sexual intercourse, but I want you to see here, to commit adultery. Again, this is moicheo. It's just a slightly altered form of the word. And look at the second form. To worship idolatrously. Do you know what idolatry is? You morons think it's a bunch of people. I'm not talking to satanic congregation. I'm talking to people who are biblically educated. Right? You morons think that it's because you've been watching too much Moses. You morons are sitting there thinking, oh God, what is idolaters? Oh, never to the image. Right? You idiots. That's not idolatry. You're looking at it right here. Look at these two. They're entering into an idolatrous relationship. Do you understand? And the Christians have to teach the people that they are initiating that there is an authority and a closeness and a compatibility in this rite that allows them to end up in public parks at 4 a.m. with naked boys talking about cups that have put them into moods where their mind is confused and they're paranoid and talking about, oh, I'm going to get scandalized. And then there's this naked kid running around with Jesus in the garden, P. Diddy. Do you understand? There is a sexual element. And that is why Jesus says, send the kiddies. Send the kiddies. Give it to me. Give it to me. People don't believe it. The last one that was long, we didn't finish that one. I want to make sure that we finish that one. Yeah, go ahead. I think it was all the way. It had 2 sections. Go ahead. Oh, are we slow? We're slow on the uptake now, aren't we? But, well, people, sit back and let me just tell you a few things as this comes up on my screen, which it's not. Which it's not. I'm sorry. Look, we have a mission. I bet we're not even there. I bet in a minute it shows us we haven't even materialized. Oh, God. Okay, people, go take your potty. Here it is. Never mind. Come back from your potty break. Hold it. Right? And so what does he say? Look at number 13. And they brought to him these children in order that he might touch, in order that he may make that connection, wrestle, engage, in order that he may use his hands on the children. And what did his students do? His mathetai. They said, this is BS. And they berated him. And when he saw what was going on, Jesus got really, really mad. Give me the next one. Really, really mad. Yeah. The next one. Boom. And so he gets really, really mad. And what does he do? He says to them, you let these little kids come to me, right? Let them come to me. Don't prevent them. right? For this is the kingdom of God. Well, what do you mean, Jesus? Yelling at your teenage boys there? Yelling at your teenage boys who are suddenly ticked that you're doing something with children that's going to get you scandalized. Okay? You're doing it right out in the open as they're bringing their kids. And the apostles, by the way, these are infants, and the apostles are not happy. I'm going to show you what Jesus does. I'm going to show you what he actually does. Give it to me, Chewy. We've got, we've got 20. Oh, yeah, we're getting bad responses from the sources, people. I really apologize. It takes a while for them to come up. Right, we're getting on close traffic time. So we're down to about 4 Mbps. 0.4? Sorry. Sorry. She says 0.4. Can you believe that? It's a miracle. It's the miracle of Amen. The fact that oh, there it is. Shut up. Amen, he says. He says, Amen. He says, say my name, Jesus. And he does. Look at him. Amen. Right? Lego, men, I say to you. Right? And this is Jesus. He says, whoever receives the kingdom of God, like these little children that I'm handling, right? That's the person who enters the kingdom. He says, people who don't, they don't get there. They don't get there. You mean if I haven't been handled by Jesus? And now, how people wiggle out of this is the hos paidion. Right? All the translators, you can follow. The translations are hilarious, right? You can follow them just to see how bad they are, right? So they'll put things like, in the state of mind of a child, people who don't enter the right via the mind of a child, the mindset of a child. Let's throw that in there. No. You get felt. It's part of the rite. Do you understand? I heard some Templars lately trying to make their image better. Read the papyrus. Read the thing that talks about what they did. The things that they were revealing under interrogation. I don't care if you think it's false. Yeah. Look, we don't take... the Templars can do the same thing that the evangelicals can do, the Catholics can do, Orthodox Jewry, right? Muslim, devout Muslim, right? Same thing. It's the same walk on the same side every time. Every time. Yeah. The important thing is to say, we are not going to erect walls around holy books or holy sources without considering other things around them. That's not good science. That's not good science. Yeah. Debunking Amen. Right? Debunking, seriously. Right? What you will do for cash is extraordinary. It's extraordinary. But Wesley Huff, please, son, don't keep running away. You're going to have to turn and face your boogeyman sometime. And I'm glad to be there, Wesley, to drink your blood. I'm glad to. As a classical philologist, I'm glad to. Coward. Let's do it. He'll never come, right? He'll never come. People, what is Jesus doing? Here's the verse. It's disturbing. I'm sorry. Throwing his arms around the little kitties. He praises them as he touches them with his hands. He calls out the parts that he finds so glorious. Not only that, but it's intensively to praise, right? It's not just eulogy. It's serious praise. Kind of a sick, twisted thing that you do. If somebody handed me their kid, their infant in a public park and wanted me to rub them all over and talk about how great the things were that I was rubbing, like Jesus, do you think that I would be allowed anywhere? I'd have to have some kind of bracelet on that, my head explodes if I step too far out of, you know what I mean? Get within 50 feet of a school and some laser from some satellite turns me into a pile of ash, right? Something like that. These are the things that Jesus does. And you haven't seen them because you've not read the Bible. The greatest compliment, one of the greatest compliments I had as a student, not as a student, as a professor, was from a student who said, "You were right, Dr. Hillman, you were right." I said, "What?" "I was right about what, man? I'm right a lot, man. What are you talking about? Does it surprise you?" And he was like, No. It's just because you were right about what you said on the first day." I said, "What did I say on the first day?" He said, "This is in seminary." He said, "You said to an entire class of freshmen at a seminary, you have not read the Bible. You've not read the Bible." And he told me, he said, "You were right," as he's graduating. He says, "You were right, man." Yeah, that's what I'm doing now. It's my job. It's my job, and I'm honored to be able to do it. 15 minutes, Chewy. Hit me with the next one. Let's get them all the good stuff. Skip that. Let's go. Next one. Look at that. We're just cutting. We're just 1 Corinthians, right? Look, Paul's saying, you've had a lot of teachers, right? Who is Jesus here, by the way? He's a pedagogue. What is a pedagogue? Somebody who takes around children, right? Like, we're talking primary education. Right. So he says, look, you can have a lot of these pedagogues in Christ, right? In that state. But you don't have many fathers, right? Oh, God. Seriously? He's like, oh, yeah, I brought you into this world, baby, through the gospel, right? He's getting all weird. I thought it was interesting. The whole comparison with the pedagogues, right? These are the people who take children to school and make sure that they get to all their lessons, that kind of thing. Fantastic. Now, you know what we're going to have to do? Take off for the last galaxy. I want you to hit this one. Yeah, hit it. Chewy, this is it. They've got to have the climax now. Okay, people, hold on. Hold on to your stomachs. Are you ready? I think this is it. I'm so excited. I can't wait to give this to you. I can't wait to give it to you. So now I know you can probably see this before I do, but you got to give me a second. Who is this? This is Suetonius. A Roman historian, and he writes biographies. And this is from his biography of Tiberius. And Tiberius is ruling at the time when Jesus is living, right? Do you understand? They are exact contemporaries. Blow it up. They're exact contemporaries. So I just want to read to you. When Tiberius retired to the island of Capri, he had an idea to set up this special room. It's going to be the seat of the arcane lust. Right? It is the arcane rites that have to do with libido. And in these things, what did he do? In these rites, what did he do? He got these girls and these boys. There's whole flocks of these. You got to blow it up. Flocks of these things, right? And they were going to perform these acts, right? And these acts are, oh God, it's hard to do this to even tell you about it, right? He's going to tell you that in a minute. But then he says he called these kids his spintrias. Now, that doesn't have any effect on your ear because you haven't spent time in antiquity, right? We got to all go there. Give me the next slide. Now, you know what? Don't. Well, go ahead. Go ahead. Oh, look, it came up right away. No, but that's the wrong one. What are these boys? Just to show you, they're ones that have gained their full bloom, right? They're all the way to that ripeness. Do you understand? That's what he's looking for. Okay, now give me the next one. What did he call them? He called them this. Are you ready? Oh God. Now take a look at that. I know it's not coming up for me, but I want you to take a look at it. And I want you to take a look at the Greek sphincter. Yeah, the contractile muscle of the anus. Right? I dare you to find the word for that. I dare you to find the word for that in Hebrew, ancient Hebrew, not modern, ancient Hebrew. I'm sure modern Hebrew has sphincter, but ancient Hebrew, no way, dude. No way. It's way too technically advanced, right? Right? Way too technically advanced. It's got to stay out of the stories. Here's Capri, right? You got Capri there. Gorgeous. So this is why now let's continue the narrative. What's he doing? What else is he doing? Oh, well, here's the palace, right? It's nice. So for people who thought this was myth, no, we're talking about history. And here's the place, right? Here's the Tiberian palace. Gorgeous. I know some of you have been there, right? Some of you have been there and you've seen the place. Well, what else does he do with these kids that he calls his sphincters? He sets them up in triplicate. Right? And so that he can watch them as they perform acts of sexuality, engage each other. And as he's watching them, he becomes excited and libidinous because his libido is infamously troublesome. It takes a lot. You would expect somebody who has been Christing to have problems just like this. And these aren't the only chemical problems from aphrodisiacs that we see. Ovid talks about it. Yeah. So it's like if you take the drugs that make you aroused, right, both masculine and feminine, if you take the aphrodisiacs that make you aroused, and when they shut down, you have like a refractory. You have like it's harder for you to reach the same level of anticipation and whatnot with those on board, right? Without those on board, you got to go back to the drugs, right? You got to use it's because you're screwing with your receptors and all that kind of stuff, right? They understood that, and the doctors understood about overdosing and all that kind of stuff. Get me back to that text. Hurry. What is he doing? We got to hustle. Tonight, people. I'm sorry. I'm on a limit tonight. So it just says he also has cubicula. He's also got these bedrooms where he's got these tablets, right? And these statues and pictures of all these sexy figures and little statuettes doing sexy stuff. And he's got the books of Elephantis. And who is Elephantis? We'll end that one with that. Who is Elephantis? Oh, God, you got to love this lady. She's a doctor midwife from the 1st century BC. So she's right up there, right up close to exactly where we are in time. Yeah, okay, exactly where we are in time. And she's a doctor midwife. But what does she write? Look at all the scrolls. You know what she writes? She writes books about sex. She writes books, and they have very famously pictures, illustrations. Why would you want illustrations? Because you got to have a library. If you're going to pursue the sexuality of the mystery and Christ, then you're going to have some kind of instruction. Do you understand why Jesus was arrested in a public park with a naked kid saying, "I am not a Alastes"? At the time that all of this is happening, Rome is fighting this organized piracy of humanity. They're fighting it. And Tiberius is using the trade is using the trade. I'm going to show you. How does he get all these children? Didn't you wonder where do you get children? There's an active black market for them, right? I'm going to show you what else. Give me the next one. But the great thing is Elephantis is this great intellect who's writing about sexuality that everybody else is reading. Okay. This is so far advanced from everybody around them, right? Oh God, it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous, fantastic. You know by the way, this woman is in Galen as well. He talks about her as well. She's right smack dab in the middle of a whole bunch of other male physicians talking about what the best drugs are, right? Or drug knowledge was supposed to be fantastic, right? Of course. Now, this is the last one I'm going to bring you, but I want you to know, this is it. This is the last one I'm going to bring you. And give me this one, Chewy. Boom, right? I did it. Yep. Okay. This is going to take a second to come up, people. But I want to show you what the draw was for the trade of these children. And you can see it with Tiberius. And he did something, it says, I'm translating, he did something just made things worse. You know, this was infamous. And you know what? I can barely listen to this stuff, much less, even believe it, right? But this is what he did. He took boys of their very tender youth, whom he called his little fishies, and he instructed them, right, so that they would swim around him and take little nibbly bibblies out of his genitalia, just very gently. They would play this little game with him, right? And much worse, even worse than this. And I'm going to read this to you, people, from the Latin. And I want you to hold on to your stomach. And I'm going to do this as professionally and respectfully as I can. Because when he was done with these, he just disposed of them. Okay? These are disposables that we're talking about now. Right? What did he do? He took infants who were firmiores, who were fed up, right? Fed up, right? Not just brand new newborns, but fed up. Maybe a year to 18 months, something like that, right? He took these, and again, from the black market, and what does he do? Well, they're not quite yet done with, they haven't been weaned. So he takes them before they're weaned and he applies them to his groin. And they will act as if they are nursing, right? And this thing is seen as kind of natural for that stage anyway. It's a part of the nature of that age. And so he uses that. Okay. So in addition to his grottos, take it down, Chewy, that's probably the roughest, most difficult passage that I've ever had to translate. Right? But that is Suetonius, and that is Roman history of what is happening at the same time that Jesus is functioning. And Jesus is saying, when he gets captured by the Roman military, so you could say the SWAT team, that catches him in a public park at 4 a.m. with a naked kid. Now you understand what all the touching, what all the grooming was for. Now you understand why Jesus was saying, I'm going to get caught. I'm going to get scandalized, right? Everybody's going to abandon me because I am going to get scandalized. Now you understand why there was a mob that wanted to kill him, worse than a murderer. Now you know why They crucified him with the other lace tie. Now you know. Thank you for coming tonight. I appreciate the fact that you are more than willing to donate your time to these sources. I recognize that, and I honor you for that, Satanic congregation. I appreciate it. And I say, have a good evening. I'll see you Friday. Hail Satan.
Sophia the snake, venom in the play. My blue lady of the lake, fly this way. Pulled by dragons, chanting, singing with the muse. In the blizzard of Oz, we can get a light cruiser from the cantina bar. Dawn bringers, root cutters, Hong Kong, diesel truckers, Chickadee from Amazia, all about it, onomatopoeia, diesel hawking, pills you want them, she eats them babies, donut assassin, black goo, got some on you, wicked craft, the arrows flew, Amazona, pharmakia, purple drugs in the eyes, Jesus Christ. You might have drugs in your eyes, she blinded me with science. You might have drugs in your eyes, she blinded me with science. You might have drugs in your eyes, she blinded me with science. You might have drugs in your eyes, she blinded me with science.